I think that we are all hypocrites, and there are a number of reasons why I think that. But today I was discussing with some friends after church, and one girl was explaining how she recently met someone that believes that the world is flat, and she was saying how she found that really weird and she didn't understand why you would believe that. And then the point came up that, well, we believe that the world is round only because we've been told it. Like that's just what we've been told. That's what we've heard. And I was thinking about how there must be many beliefs that we have, or assumptions that we have, that we hold just because we've been told, or either like we've just been told and we believe it, or we've been told and no one's ever like denied it or like gone against it. So we don't like check those assumptions or beliefs and make sure that they're solid. And I think a lot of people believe things and hold opinions, but they don't think very deeply about them, about why they have them and where they're coming from. And I think that when it comes to discussing issues with people that you have differing opinions with, it's I think the most natural thing is to argue your point. Like, you know where you're coming from, you know why you believe what you believe, and what you believe makes sense to you. But I think we don't appreciate enough that what other people believe makes perfect sense to them as well. Just because it doesn't make sense to you doesn't mean that it doesn't make sense to anyone. And actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of an arrogant thing to assume that because someone's opinion doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't make sense at all. And I'm guilty of this. And it's just, it's interesting, and it makes me think about how hypocritical we are. And I also think about, we're hypocritical in a way that maybe people don't think about. But when I look at the outside world, I see many different things that I don't understand or don't like, and then there are also many good things as well, things that I look forward to experiencing, things that I'm glad have happened, and all sorts of things. There's a mixture of things you see out there in the world. And when I look inwards, I see a reflection of that, like a mini reflection of that. There are things in me, like who I am, that I'm like, well, why am I like that? Why is it that I say I'll do this and then I don't do it? Like, there are areas of myself that I'm disappointed in, but then there are some things that I look forward to and that I'm proud of, and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I did that, or I'm glad I'm like this, or I appreciate this about myself. So I see like a parallel there, like a reflection. And I think that we are so someone made the good point today that we're very self-centered, and it might be something that you have thought about before or heard about before, but I think it's important to think a bit more about how self-centered we are, so that we can realize how different things could be if we stepped back from ourselves just a little bit. Because we kind of assume, unwittingly I think, that like everything revolves around us. Not in how do I put it? Everything we see happens from our point of view. Like, we are our own point of reference, as my friend put it. Like, so everything we know and understand is from our point of view. But there are billions of other points of views out there that are equally valid. Like, we are not more valid than another human being. But we see the world the way we see it, and because you only see it that one way, you kind of can't imagine it any other way, because you've never seen it any other way. So then when someone comes along with a different opinion, you're like, why would you see it that way? But I think that we don't take enough time to appreciate that that person is coming from somewhere else, and where they're coming from makes them who they are, and makes them believe what they believe. And it's not, if there's something that you believe is true, and that everyone should believe, I think that you shouldn't approach it with anger, because the girl that was explaining how she met someone who believes the world is flat was saying that there are some other people there who have become angry with this person, because they're like, why would you believe that? And they're angry and they're arguing about it. And I was thinking that that's not really the best way to go about it. I think if you really want to change someone's view or improve their view, I don't know what you want to call it, it wouldn't happen by being angry with them. Like, if you want someone to believe the truth, you don't. Anger would put someone off. It would put me off. I mean, maybe it would work for some people, but it wouldn't work for me. And Oh yeah, another thing that I find interesting, because I'm a Christian, so I know that a lot of people think that Christians are hypocrites and people don't like the way Christians act, and I don't deny that, but I think it's, well, Christians are humans and humans are hypocrites, so it kind of goes without saying. And I think it's interesting that we like, you kind of write, if someone like from another planet came to Earth and they wanted to watch your behavior to determine what a human being is like, or like what, whether they want to, let's say that person from another planet has the choice to become a human being or something, and they're watching your life, like as, like kind of like as an advert to get them to decide whether they want to be a human or not. I think that it would be, I think it would be a lot of pressure to like bear the image of humanity on your life, and I also think that you wouldn't want them to judge the whole of humanity based on the bad things you do, or like the things that for them seem immoral. You would want them to judge based on the whole picture, right? And I can't remember where I was going with this. This is just, my thoughts are a bit jumbled at the moment, but this is what I'm thinking.